Hey guys, Artosis here. Welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We're looking at some very top-end games here, and today I have one you can kind of see who's playing already here in the top left. It is ss1nz. I've been doing a few more of his games lately. I've mentioned that he is one of the big strategic leaders of Protoss right now. Obviously, Mini would be another one for sure, and of course there's other very strong Protoss players out there, people like Snow or like Bisu, but honestly, they aren't really innovating that much. They're kind of playing their own styles and doing really well, whereas players like Mini and ss1nz are actually coming up with a lot of new strategies, new build orders and things that are changing the Protoss metagame, right? So ss1nz is definitely someone that I'm kind of following relatively heavily right now to see what it is I'm going to have to face on the ladder and whatnot. His opponent here is going to be the best Terran in the world. It's Light. A lot of people, you know, I've talked about this plenty of times, right? There's a lot of, you know, volatility in something like ASL, and Flash right now is not officially active as a pro gamer. So without a doubt, Light is number one. So anyways, let's see what ss1nz has up his sleeve. This is the perfect type of map for ss1nz, by the way. You can see he sends a very early probe so he can do some harassment. He'll probably take the gas like right about now. You know, we're getting up to that range where Light will actually be able to afford his gas, and he's actually not taking it. He's only focusing on harassment. So Light gets the gas up. Kind of weird there, because he gave himself a big window where he could have taken it, but instead is just harassing. And I mean, the harassing itself is good. You definitely cost a Terran quite a bit by doing this harassment, and sometimes you can get the Terran to kind of flinch and put their gas up more quickly than they should because they think you're going to steal it, but does not actually end up taking the gas, which I find to be kind of interesting. So he did send out this early probe, and obviously, you know, you're sending out an early worker. It hurts more than a later worker. But he does force Light to keep SCVs off, and you can see the crazy micro going on by both sides. Light is one of the better SCV micro players, and you can see he's actually getting a lot of hits there with his SCV. What you're watching here, by the way, just something in case people don't know, the probe actually moves much better than the SCV and has much more range than the SCV. Also, obviously, it heals on its own. But Light is doing a really good job. SCV actually has the second lowest range in the game. Things like Zerglings and Zealots have higher range than the SCV, although it is considered a ranged unit, so it doesn't do any damage under Darkstorm. Bonus points if you know what actually has lower range than the SCV. I'll give you a second. It's the Broodling that pops out of the Broodling spell of the Queen. It's the only thing that has shorter range. So basically, the SCV has to be on top of you to attack, whereas the Probe actually has higher range than I think it's the highest ranged. Like, well, it's not a melee unit, so it's hard to put this into words. But it's like for something that's basically supposed to be a melee unit, has huge range. Okay, I'll shut up about all that now. Let's take a look at these actual builds, right? So. You know, ss1nz went down with that probe. It honestly wasn't super successful. Felt like Light dealt with it really well. The Nexus is going up before the command center, not by a whole lot, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but a nice quick Nexus. Has a Dragoon come down. Already the bunker is ready with 2 Marines. We have a Vulture coming up, and he did not go for Vulture before add-on, so this is going to allow him to get an upgrade a little bit quicker than what we would normally see. There's the Mines upgrade there from Light, and not entirely sure where he wants to go with that. There's a lot of very popular builds right now, like going 1 starport or going 2 factory with this. Oh, Light has decided he's going to go ahead and hop this Vulture out. He knows the Dragoon is here watching for anything coming out, and so he wants to run around and lay mines. So there's multiple things you can do with this. You can try to get up into their base. You can lay some mines just to catch other units coming out. You can lay mines on their expansion, or you could even lay mines like somewhere like there to catch the Dragoons as they try to retreat, because eventually these Dragoons will try to walk home. So you could lay mines in that path. We'll see what Light wants to do. He is going to check on this location first. Looks like he does want to lay a mine. Back at home, Light is going for Academy Armory. So this is a build from Light where he's going to be able to get a ton of intel. I like to see it. And in fact, he mined that mineral. I wonder if he's going to mine that out. He lays a few mines in here. Gonna go up. Oh my God, this is huge. Dude, this vulture is doing so much for light. He's laid all these mines. There's no units here right now. He's going to get probes. That is a beautiful pylon there from ss1nz, though. Blocks the vulture. This is going to be the least kills a vulture literally has ever gotten in this situation. He gets 0 kills with it. He gets a full scout, which I think he's probably valuing more. And I'm actually interested to see. I think he'll skip his comsats for a while. Let's see. Let's see. And then I'm going to explain exactly what's going on with that. Fucking chills. Chills. Okay, the level of play that you're watching already is astronomical. Okay, so let me explain this, right? He lost the vulture. He could have sat here and killed 3-4 probes, maybe. Maybe. You know, they're going to run. He doesn't know when a dragoon's coming down. There's like some variables, but he could have killed more than 0 probes, which is how many he killed. Instead, he went in for a full scout. Now, the full scout, first off, it's going to warn him of anything happening. What else does it do? It allows him to skip the comsats. Even though he made the academy, he skips the comsats because making a comsat station costs 2 SCV build times. So he got the full scout. He had potential for probe kills. He didn't get them, but he had potential for probe kills. But this basically adds 4 SCVs to light. Because if he makes those comsats, he makes 4 less workers. So yeah, he can keep his vulture here and kill 4 probes, but he actually gains more value by killing none and going into the main base because he doesn't have to make the comsats right now. The later you make the comsats, the better it is for your economy. Look at the worker count as he makes that. Completely even. And so, yeah, that is, I'm sorry I'm nerding out about this, but that is such a high-level move that you rush Academy to scout and then you completely skip it because of what your vulture was able to pull off. Anyways, let's take a look at where we're at in the game. We have Reaver Tech coming up, Shuttle on the way, 3rd Nexus. He's cleared the mines that Light had laid on his side of the map. He's setting up some good SimCity to prevent vultures from running in here. He has 1 observer down scouting Light. What is Light doing? Light is going for, wow, actually, well, only 2 Goliaths. Okay, I was going to say maybe the Goliath build, which is really old at this point and very few people use it, which is 4 ranged Goliaths. And he might still get range, but this is kind of like just an upgrade Terran build, right? Like he's got his comsats now. Normally you'll throw 2 turrets down. I've talked about this before. When you have multiple Goliaths that you're making as anti-air, you make turrets just on the fringes of your base, and the Goliaths, they'll defend the center. So very much an upgrade Terran strategy here from Light, really focusing on getting those upgrades out so that he can get into a big macro game. Over on the side of ss1nz, he is getting his shuttle speed. We'll see if he goes from Reaver into Carrier or Reaver into Psystorm. Both are very doable. Right now, Reaver into Psystorm is more popular, but ss1nz is one of the best Carrier players in the world. Like, he actually came up with a lot of the most powerful Carrier builds that are currently in use. Some of these heavy macro, like 3 base Carrier builds that were really irking Terran players a lot lately. So a 3rd factory is coming up. Looks like we have a dropship on the way, and you can see, look at this, right? So between the turrets plus him watching, there's no observer in his base. So he's actually loaded up 2 vultures and a siege tank. Looks like he's going to go in this direction, and I'm not sure exactly what his idea about where to put that is. You can see ss1nz is actually already blocking this. I don't know how he's already blocking this move, but he is. There is a photon cannon here, so it's really hard to drop in this area. You have to target every single shot or they'll just auto attack on the cannon. Oh, he actually brings in a couple vultures. Not going to get very much, unfortunately, but it does give him a scout of what's going on here. If you randomly scan here, he's going to know a drop is coming. So Light drops out a vulture. Okay, lays a mine at that expansion spot. 3 dragoons still waiting. He doesn't know about these dragoons, so that's an issue. All right, Light will get out and be able to keep this alive. So no harm, no foul, but great defense there from ss1nz. I honestly don't know how he read that and kept 3 dragoons there. You know, I guess he's got vision, and these don't need to be anywhere else. He can't like go contain Light right now. So that's a really interesting play in my opinion. Now, the Reavers come out, and he does have that speed now. Going to blow up this turret. So that was Light trying to get like a free turret up. If he gets that turret up, he can very quickly walk out and take control of this area and take his third base. Here, it might take him a little bit longer. We'll see. Wraith has been made to help deal with shuttles. Generally, always a good idea to have very mobile anti-air against someone who's going speed shuttles. So he has that. Building a few more missile turrets here as well. Oh, man. ss1nz comes in and blows up a tank immediately. Very good forward move. Just pushing Light back, kind of bullying him right now. Now, Light is not in a terrible position or anything. He still has a very good SCV count. He has very good defense so far. Well-placed turrets. Look, you can see, like, there's turrets, mines, depots all over the place. You can see he's adding more turrets here in the corner. And he's just trying to say, okay, if you try to dive in with a shuttle, you're going to be in some trouble. He has multiple Wraiths. He's actually getting Cloak, which, you know, this is something that Light came up with to counteract really good Reaver players. It was originally used against Snow, and here he is using this here now against ss1nz. So this is kind of his ace in the hole to push Reavers back. Looking at his base going up to 6 factories, he's got those 2-1 upgrades almost done. Well, actually, it's just plus 2. Sorry, he skipped the +1 armor. That's actually becoming a little bit more trendy as well. Now, the Speed Reaver is going to come into this main base, and he somehow finds like a perfect path through the turrets, but a mine will hit. You see the Wraiths come over. The Wraiths making a very big difference here. Oh, a really good final scare, but overall that would go towards Light. So he eliminates the 2 Reavers. He's going to be pretty happy with that, I would say. Looking back at ss1nz's side of the map, let's see what he's up to. 10 gateways. He is going to go into Psystorm style and double Robo. So this is going to be very, very shuttle heavy. I actually really like this style for this map. To be clear, the carrier styles are very good here. There's a lot of good terrain for carriers. But if you go Psystorm, you can sometimes hold this area. Like if you have army here or army here, right? If you have army here, Terran can't push over the bridge against Psystorm. If you have army here, this is like basically 2 Psystorms wide. So if you have multiple Psystorms plus your army, Terran pushing up this way can be really, really hard for Terran. I feel like there's a small window where you can do it, but we'll see. Now, Light finally gets that drop off, not getting a ton of damage, gets like 3 probes it looks like so far. He's laid some mines, and he will just vacate the premises. In the meantime, we have this 4th base up for ss1nz. Now, the move out for Light is going to be very hard, but don't forget, this is a smaller map. So ss1nz right now is only on 4 bases. And how many more bases can he really take? This one, right, that Light had laid a mine at before. It looks like he is getting ready for that at least. So he can take that base and maybe this base, but this is very much on the side of Light. So that seems like one that he might be able to push down more easily. But I could see a situation here, by the way. These Cloaked Wraiths are actually being worth so much. Okay, an observer comes up. I mean, you're not going to micro these Wraiths forever, honestly. They have a shelf life, and you're gonna let them go. Now, Light is going up here. He's laying some mines, getting ready for possibly pushing up, but he's really got to be on top of where ss1nz is standing. ss1nz right now, by the way, if you take a look at this, he's only on 56 workers. That's a little bit low. Light on 60. But ss1nz is basically maxed, so he'll start to bank up, and that'll really help him when he starts trading. Whereas Light, he's not maxed yet, so he can't really bank up at the moment. Now, ss1nz just kind of moving back. It's really hard to move over these bridges. Light gets a lot of vultures out there to start, but here we go. ss1nz going to attack move towards Light a little bit. Actually backs up there, eats a mine. Light's doing a good job of pushing out. ss1nz is setting up the bottom left right now. Look at this. A lot of High Templars. This is going to be the scary part I was talking about, where it's incredibly hard. Now, Light leaves this forward tank contingent, starts putting down a turret. He's kind of drawing the army into this area for ss1nz, and then very quickly moving up this side. So I think this is like a good idea tactically. Will he be able to hold here? Look at this. Oh, 2 High Templars getting in the front. He actually has a hard time picking them off. Storms go down. A ton of Zealots coming up. He actually needs a lot more units up there immediately. I think ss1nz has just enough to break through everything. Kills off that Science Vessel, as you can hear. Some great Psystorms go down, and just barely. He decides to turn around. He didn't have an additional size storm there. Just barely pushed back. So Light will be able to take his 4th base location, but he's got to get more units up here immediately because look at the size of the army that ss1nz is bringing up right now. Light rallying up. He's got that +2 attack. He's got +3 almost done here, which is going to be a big deal. But here come the Psy Storms. Beautiful Psy Storm on those 3 siege tanks. Oh my god, the mine, nope, doesn't get dragged into the Terran army. Does a good job. Oh god, there's mines back here. Oh! A huge mine explosion. And suddenly this base going to be absolutely demolished. All the tanks are dying. Light not going to be able to save the command center, unfortunately. And dropping down so low in supply. This just became ss1nz's game to lose. This is a terrible situation for Light. So now Light is relegated to just 3 bases for the foreseeable future. His supply is extremely low. He is moving out and taking the center. The problem is ss1nz's macro is really going. Look at this gateway count right now. What is that? It's 15 gates just rallying out. So he is popping out 30 supply every like 25 to 30 seconds. Right? That's pretty insane. And he's just going to start attack moving. And with this low of supply for Light, you're not able to trade efficiently enough. ss1nz coming down, attacking into Light. And he is going to be able to remove all these tanks. Look at this. The command center being built on location. Light was desperate here. But honestly, I think this game is very close to ending. He has done some damage to the economy of ss1nz. We'll give him that. ss1nz is down to 40 probes. It's not very healthy. But he does still have enough mineral patches that, you know, it's still looking very, very ss1nz favored. How do you rebuild that tank army and take either secure the middle, which is incredibly hard on this map, or, I mean, you can try to secure this again, but you do have to leave enough units here that ss1nz can't counterattack you. Very, very, very tough stuff here for Light. Now, Light is going to try to retake this base. It makes sense. This has been shut down. This has been shut down. Can ss1nz shut this down again? Start to spread those tanks out a little bit through that mineral line. But look, so few units here. Honestly, an attack move over the bridge would work at this point. In fact, even an attack move up to this 4th base location, I think would have a very high chance of working here as well. The tanks battering these units from the high ground. ss1nz going to back up for now. Still macroing out pretty cleanly. Still making a few probes here and there, but he will decide to go across the bridge. Now, there's very few units here, but obviously hard to get across a bridge for anybody. Throws those Psy Storms down on the siege tanks. A good defense matrix goes off, but obviously this small amount of siege tanks not going to be able to hold on against such a large army. ss1nz going for the kill right now. Light, I mean, he's got a bunch of tanks up here, but who cares? GG, ss1nz takes down Light.